Hello and welcome to this Quick Dynamics Fast Focus session. Today we'll be looking at one of the new features from the 2024 Release Wave 1 in Business Central, specifically the employee expenses in a foreign currency. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get more of this content in the future. Thanks for watching. We're going to look at the employee currency feature. If we go into an employee card, in this case Esther Henderson, and scroll down to the payments tab at the bottom, you can see the fields that we've been familiar with for the last few versions. So we've got the employee posting group and various bank account details. We also have a new field, which is currency code. And this currency code works in the same way as it does on the customer and the vendor. It's the default currency for that particular employee. In this case, we set Esther up with the currency code of euros. And if we go to the next record, we can see for Jim Olive, he's been left blank, so his currency code is the default for our system, which is GBP. Let's go have a look and see what happens when we carry out some transactions. Here I am in the General Journal screen, where I'm going to post some transactions against employees in different currencies. But before we go further, I want to point out a slight issue that I've discovered. So in the batch name up here, where it says expenses, if I click on the assist edit, you can see the list of General Journal batches. You're probably aware that on a General Journal batch, you can assign a balancing account type and a balancing account number, which means that whatever you've got selected there automatically fills into every line that you enter in this journal batch. I was trying to set up an expenses journal specifically for Esther Henderson, where I wanted to set her balancing account type to be employee, obviously, and also set a balancing account number of her employee number. However, it doesn't look up to the employee number. So I think what's happened is when they put in some of these new account types down the bottom here, the IC partner, the employee, and the allocation account, I think they've missed a trick and not joined up the balancing account number. So I would ask Microsoft to please fix it. I've also put an idea up on the Microsoft Ideas website where you can go and upvote it, and the more votes it gets, the more likely it is to be fixed in future versions. There is a link to that idea in the comments below this video, and if you click on the link, make sure you log in the top right corner before clicking the vote button. Thank you very much. So I'm using the employee expenses batch that I've created here, which has got balancing account type of employee, which means that the employee type will at least fill in on each line. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to create some lines for expenses for Esther. So the first one is for a hotel. So 30530 is board and lodgings. I'm now going to manually fill in her employee number. It defaults in the currency code of euros, which is we filled out earlier on her employee card, and an amount there of 250 euros. And you can see in the amount LCY column, that's the GBP value of those 250 euros based on the exchange rate on the posting date of the line, which is the 8th of the 4th. We're then add in some additional lines. So we're going to add in a line for some entertainment. And again, I'll manually fill in that EH, and it's euros again, and we'll say it's 120 euros. And we've also got to pay for some travel expenses. So that's going to 30540, which is travel expenses, again for EH. Now, this one she paid for when she was in the UK, so the currency code is going to be made blank. Now, remember, those currency code on the employee is only a default, so you can change it at a line level if you so wish. And then we're going to put in the £99 there, and you'll see that the amount LCY matches the amount because the amount is in our base currency of GBP. So now we've done that, we are going to post this journal. That's all posted successfully. We're going to have a quick look at her employee ledger to see what's happened on that, and then we'll go and pay her the money for those expenses. I'm back on Esther's employee card, and on the general tab here, you can see the balance LCY field. So this is the balance of the money that we owe to Esther in our local currency, which is GBP. And if we draw down, we can see the transactions that make up that value. Now, these are the ones I just posted. So you can see the two top transactions are in the euro currency code and the euro values there, and then the GBP equivalent. And then the final transaction I posted with a blank currency code, minutes in GBP, and so it's £99. I've also noticed here there's a big difference between the amount and the amount LCY, which I think means that our currency exchange rate isn't set up properly in the system. So this gives me an opportunity to show another piece of this new functionality. So we'll come out of this and we're going to look for the currencies list. We're going to go into the currencies and find the euros. So here we are, the euros, and drill down on the exchange rate, which will show us all the exchange rates that we've got set up in the system. And we can see here that it's not been updated since the 1st of January 2022. So I'm going to update it and say from the 1st of April 24, I want the exchange rate to be 100 cents against £88. And we're going to adjust the adjustment exchange rate as well to be the same. And we'll say OK to that, close that, come out of the currencies. Now we've changed that, which means any new transactions will pick up that new exchange rate. However, the existing transactions won't have been affected. So we need to run the adjustment routine. So we run the adjust exchange rates routine. And this is filled in to basically update anything which is open in the system. So I'm going back to the start of 2020 up to the end of April 24. I'll fill out the document number, and you can run it for all these different elements, including now employees. So I've just left it set to employees. I don't want to run it for everything now. And we'll say OK to that and let it run. That's been adjusted. And if you can see in the background here, the balance has been updated. So it's no longer, it was 300 and something. We now owe Esther £424. And you can see here that these adjustment values have been posted. So we've got unrealized losses have been posted in through that adjustment routine I've just run. And that's now the total value that we owe to her. So the next step will be to pay her the money to close down those open entries. For the final step, we're in the payment journal. On the Prepare tab, we have the Suggest Employee Payments. When we run this, we have a number of options. I've asked it to summarize per employee, and then obviously I've set up the information about which bank account I want to pay from, and I'm filtering it on the particular employee that I want to pay. When I say OK to that, it generates me the payment lines in the journal, and you can see that even though I've asked it to summarize per employee, it's actually summarized by employee and then by currency code. So I've got a line for the euros, for the 370 euros that I owe, and a line for GBP, for the local currency, for £99. Obviously, if you've got bank integration, you can export the file at this point, or if you're happy with this and you've made the payment, you can then post it. That then closes the loop, means that the transactions have now been closed off. And if we go back to the employee card, so we'll search for the employees. And then if we go to Esther's employee card, we can see on here that our balance has now been set to 0 as we've made the transactions to pay off the expenses that she's incurred. So that completes the cycle for paying the employee for the expenses that have been incurred in various currencies. Thanks for watching this video. We hope you found it of use. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and like the video. You can also follow us on other forms of social media with our Quick Dynamics tag, and you can visit our website at quickdynamics.co.uk. Thanks again.